Live in Studio B, Elephant Sessions here. That was a fun tune.
Thank you very much.
Yeah, great. Ewan, what was the name of that song?
That is the title track of our brand new album, and it's called What Makes You. Thought
Yeah.
we'd open with it.
Well, that's terrific. And we'll go ahead and tell when that album's due out.
So our album's out on the 10th of May. We're selling a few copies at MerleFest. It's our first public selling, I think.
It's the first time we've seen them.
It's it's actually the first time we've got our hands on them too.
Okay.
So yeah, but it was first sold at MerleFest, but yeah, it's out on the 10th of May officially.
All right.
Pre-orders out now.
There you go, see?
Man's on it.
Marketing man. He's right on top of it. Good job, Alistair. Ewan, one of you guys, since you have the mics, introduce the band for everybody.
So to my left on bass, Mr. Seth Tinsley. Behind him on drums, Mr. Greg Barry. To my right on mandolin, Alistair Taylor. And on the far side there on guitar, Mark Bruce. And my name's Ewan Smiley, and I'm playing the fiddle.
So it's Smiley.
Smiley is, yeah.
The 2 L's, but it's still Smiley. Yeah.
Still Smiley.
All right. And you guys are all from the Scottish Highlands, pretty much?
Pretty much. Seth here is from near Newcastle, and the rest of us are from, Inverness and the surrounding areas in the Highlands of Scotland.
Okay. And let's see, you all released your first album in 2014, right? Wasn't it?
Yes.
Sounds about right, yeah.
Yeah. So how long have you been together before you released that first album?
I think we'd been together about a year, so I think it's about 6 years now. And yeah, 3 albums in 6 years. It's better than I think we thought we'd do. But first album. It's about a year in for the first album.
Okay. How did you all meet playing music, or at school, or how did you all get together?
Yeah, myself and Ewan had been learning fiddle together from quite a young age, actually. I met Greg through kind of music and music classes in and around Inverness before I went off to uni in Newcastle in England and met Mark and Seth and brought it all together. Me, Ewan and Greg have been playing a lot together and then added these 2 guys in.
You guys knew you had that magic, right?
That was it, man.
Yeah.
That's it. Now, you were here with us today after a performance at MerleFest. Did you do one, or did you have more than one performance at MerleFest?
We had 2 gigs at MerleFest. We had one in the afternoon on the hillside stage, and then we played the dance tent in the evening as well. So it was pretty wild.
That's what I was going to ask.
Yeah, man.
Listening to you guys' music, I'd say they had to play the dance tent.
Oh yeah, that was it. Well, we got nice and warmed up in the sun in the afternoon, and then I think a few people would have seen us there and then come along. So it was packed out at night time. It was quality, really good fun.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Get to jam with some folks while you were hanging around MerleFest when you weren't playing an actual
We
stage
honestly
set?
didn't have much time at all. It was pretty rushed the whole day, unfortunately. But hopefully we'll be back very soon, which would be nice.
Yeah, I know. I've hung around the dance tent enough to know they love bands who play music like you, you guys, and Scythian, and bands like that. Man, pack out the dance tent. So it's a lot of fun.
Nice.
Live in Studio B here at WNCW, you're listening to Elephant Sessions. Hey, and so are we. Great to have you guys in here today. Sounding wonderful. New album, What Makes You, coming out a week from Friday on the 10th of May. Now, you're going to be back over in the UK when that album drops.
Yes.
Do you guys do album release parties over there the way they do them over here in this country?
So the last couple albums we've done a kind of big show, and this year we're just doing a big tour. Mm-hmm. So the first night of the tour is the album release, and we're doing, I think, is it 3 weeks?
Yeah.
3 weeks from then. So we start off, we go back tomorrow to the UK, and we've got 2 days off, and then head up to the island of Shetland, off the top of Scotland. 4 or 5 days there at a festival, and then 2 days off, and then straight into a 3-week tour, and then straight into festivals.
I looked at your tour schedule. I was like, man, it's a good thing these are young guys. Because, it works you. Not everybody can run like Sam Bush. He's a little older than I am, and he still runs like the Energizer Bunny all the time. So, but yeah, it looks like a great tour, and the album, I wish you all luck in the world. What, on this album, did you approach it differently than you did your previess albums?
There was, this album in particular there was a lot more collaborative writing. So all the material we write ourselves, and it's pretty much the sort of melodies are a combination between Alistair, myself, and Seth. But it's really a band influence. There's so much Like the bass lines and the percussion are so important as well to this. So this year, this album's been a lot more electronic influences, as you kind of heard in sort of the last track a little bit more, and certainly developed from the first album, which was pretty much acoustic sounding instruments. But we've now kind of layered it up a little bit more and been a bit more adventurous. So yeah.
You guys are rooted in the traditional folk style music of that era of your region there, but you're taking it on beyond. Was that was that what you set out to do originally?
Well, I would say we all kind of grew up listening to and playing sort of folk music from our various regions and areas, and we all loved that growing up and still do. And we, as we got older, started listening to more and more different genres, different musicians and bands and stuff. And like, for example, Ewan's very into his electronic music. The boys here very into their kind of funk music. And you can hear these sort of examples coming in. And I think it wasn't particularly a conscious decision as such, like to start putting these things in. The main thing from the start was we wanted to write our own music and we wanted to put our own spin on it. So I guess in that sense, maybe we were always kind of destined to go down the fusion route. But like you said, the first album was much more traditional, more traditional instruments. Like Mark played acoustic guitar instead of electric. Seth didn't have his synthesizer. He played upright bass. Greg didn't have his samples. So we've definitely, over the 6 years, kind of pushed the sound, I think, more towards where we wanted to. But maybe we didn't know we wanted to do that.
Were there other bands doing that influenced you to create this sort of sound?
Yeah, there's been a lot of good kind of fusion bands, like band Croft Number 5, Sugar Nifty, bands like that we kind of grew up listening to, which definitely I'd say had an influence on us, and we've kind of tried to put our own spin on it and take it our own direction.
I was reading about your first album. You actually won at least one award I was reading about for your first album, right?
Up and Coming, was it?
Up and Coming. That's
yeah. BBC Music, the Scottrad Awards.
And since then, some more winnings
We've
over there.
won Album of the Year for the last album, and we've just won Live Act of the Year 3 months ago.
Yeah.
The BBC and Scott's Trad Music Award.
That's it.
Right,
Yeah. I have to make notes because I'll never.
Yeah, sure, man.
And nominated for Best Group in the BBC Radio 2 Folk Awards.
Yeah. Didn't win that one.
But thanks for mentioning it.
Sorry. Hey,
We usually go with finalists.
what do they always say?
Sounds better.
What do they always say? It's an honor just to be nominated.
Always. It's
Yeah.
the party line.
Oh, okay. How many? Let's see. When, as a band, the first time that you came and played over here in the States?
Ooh, just over a year ago, we came and did a sort of showcase event thing at in Kansas City. We were over for a weekend. Was it doing that?
Yeah, it was only a few days.
Yeah, and then this is the first year we've been kind of doing actual gigs and festivals and.
Yeah, the first proper gig was Tartan Week in New York only a couple weeks ago, actually.
Yeah.
Played in Sony Hall just off Times Square, which was pretty cool.
So you haven't been coming over here like a bunch over the last
No,
couple
Not
of
at
years?
all. We're just getting our foot in the door. So.
Hoping
Well,
this is
I
a
hope
start
that'll
of it.
change.
Yeah.
Too right.
Yeah, MerleFest is a good thing to have on your musical resume, I
Yeah,
guess.
Totally. Yeah.
But and get exposed to a lot more people, and I know, I'm sure you're beloved greatly in Scotland and around the UK and everything, and people here, I want them to discover you here, if they haven't already.
Yeah,
So,
hopefully, yeah.
Yeah, we'll get there.
talking with Elephant Sessions here in Studio B, and they look charged up to maybe play another song.
Yeah, sounds good.
I'll get a
Should we
little.
go for it?
Let you and get him a little sip of water there. Elephant Sessions live in Studio B here at WNCW. I can see why a fan asked for that song. Yeah, probably wanted to dance. I can imagine. Well, guys, I was going to ask you. I draw a parallel, and correct me if you don't feel the same way, but I do a show here called the Tallgrass, and I also do the Bluegrass show on Saturday. Tallgrass is basically kind of the bluegrass version of what I see you guys doing. It's taking the traditional bluegrass and shooting it up and adding stuff to it and getting beyond what original bluegrass was.
Yeah.
And I sort of see a parallel in what you guys are doing to that. Do you get any pushback from any traditional folk people there in Scotland or anywhere over in the UK about the music you're doing?
Not to our face. But
Not to your face.
I'm sure that there's always going to be people.
We've heard
that are-
rumours.
Aye. I think there'll always be people that are maybe more traditionally focused, more
Yeah.
traditionally minded. But, and we've probably lost people along the way, as we've developed from the first album and things. But equally, I think we probably would all say that we've gained a lot more than we've lost, And we're kind of getting into a little bit more, not mainstream, that's not the right word, but sort of easing into that a little bit more. There's quite a lot of festivals in the UK and Europe that we've done now that are, they're not folk festivals at all. So we're drawing a little bit of a fan base that wouldn't necessarily be folk music fans. So, it's quite nice to attract people like that.
Like when Dylan went electric.
Yeah.
Similar.
Well, I'd say you guys would fit great in a lot of folk festivals, and certainly at most all Americana festivals.
Yeah.
And of course MerleFest. MerleFest is based around Doc's traditional plus phrase. That's how he described the music that they like up there, and so you guys are a shoe in for that too. So, what are some of your aspirations for the band going forward? I mean, what do you? Is there any big things that you're hoping for things to accomplish, maybe?
It's a miracle we've made it this far. So don't look too far ahead, I think.
Well, if you guys had just been together a year or something, I wouldn't have asked that question. But you've been playing together a few years, so.
Yeah, I mean, to be honest, at the moment, we're looking forward to, this is personal, but we've got a big year ahead. We've got a lot of bookings this year and a lot to look forward to. And we've got a few things coming in for 2020 as well. So we genuinely don't look too far ahead. And, with the new album just coming out, and it sort of feels like a little bit of stepping up, again. So I think
a big thing for me and part of starting the band, I wanted to travel without having to pay for that. And now I get sort of paid to go to these cool places. Like, I've never been here before, for example. I'm now here.
And here we are.
So I think, a massive thing for me, getting to travel around. We have a lot of fun everywhere we go, and we get to play our music around the world to people, and I think that's pretty special. So if we can keep doing that, I think feels pretty good for now. And if we think of anything else on the way, we'll try and do that as well.
Yeah. So you played several times in the States. Have you played in Canada and some other countries
We
too?
did Canada. I think we might be going back there as well. We just got back from Australia like 3 days ago. Done a lot of Europe. Doing a lot of Europe and UK again this summer. So yeah, we've the last year or so we've kind of travelled a lot more, I think, than we ever expected. Because we kind of started this band in a shed in the Highlands, writing our own music, and we're in America. That's one thing, isn't it? That's pretty mental.
Well, I hope personally that it's not your last visit here, and certainly I'd like to have the opportunity to see you guys live at venues in this region. So
Yeah.
We'd love to come back.
So I hope you
Definitely,
will.
man.
And I think the more people hear you, I think the more venues here in the States will want to book you, festivals and venues and things like that. So, you got one more song for me?
Yeah, we'll do one more. This is
Studio B live and on fire today with Elephant Sessions. Yeah, that was a nice waltz, wasn't it? That was,
That's it.
that was
Partners.
that was brilliant. Thank you, fellas.
thank you very much.
Thanks for
Very
having
good, very good. And where can people get in touch with you on the interwebs?
We are on Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, and we've got a website. elephantSessions.com.
Thanks. I knew it, but they like to hear it from
I was
you.
just trying to think if we had any other social medias. I don't think we do.
Yeah.
No, that's the lot.
YouTube.
Oh, of course, of course. I just wanted to hear him say Twitter. People come over here and they go, "Your accent." And I'm sure you get that from us when you come over here.
You're right.
But anyway, Elephant Sessions. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
It's
Thank
Mark,
you.
Alistair, Ewan, Seth, Greg.
Nailed it.
You don't know what a victory that is for me without cheap notes, right? But anyway, it was a pleasure to have you guys.
Thank you very
Come
much
back
for having us.
anytime.
We would love to come back. Thank you.
All right.
Cheers.
Studio B Sessions live, presented by Sierra Nevada Brewing Company.